Having autism, if people don't perceive and understand you and they don't understand your boundaries and your issues and your personal issues on top of it, relationship just doesn't go where it needs to go. So it's not the way that it should be. It should be the complete opposite. People love you. You should be cared and loved for for who you are. It shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It should not be like, oh well, my autism just stepped in the way. I just got bit by you. I don't like you no more. Or I don't trust you. I don't do this. That type of thing.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Sober Strong apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor, and every piece you throw on says you're part of the crew that doesn't back down. Every order fuels recovery with 10% donated to treatment facilities. Hit SoberStrongApparel.com and use code ROCKBOTTOM at checkout for 10% off. Stay sober, stay true, rep the crew.
All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. I'm here with Addy here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining the show. And we were going to talk about some things today about mental health topics and all that. First, I'd like to kind of get to know you a little bit. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Well, again, my name's Addy. I'm actually originally from North Carolina. I spent most of my life in Virginia and Florida, and I came from being in Florida for 5 years. I'm actually now here in East Hollywood, California, and I came out here to pursue my dreams just like everybody else comes out here to do. But it was a gift from God for me to be here and to be able to move forward, and also, getting to the really important story of the reason why I came here.
Yeah. And we'll get into kind of why you came there. And it sounds like you are into music and all that. I want to know kind of like what was you said you're outspoken about having severe autism. Can you kind of describe like what your life was like growing up and how you responded to things and what your parents were like and all that?
Well, my mom did exactly what she could do. She didn't really have much of a choice in a lot of ways, especially, growing up into the poor world. I was diagnosed with severe autism at 6 months old. I was nonverbal for 15 years. And believe it or not, my mom was told that she was an unfit parent, which is not fair for anybody to say to somebody, because every child's different. Every child has behavior problems. It doesn't matter what age. But when you get told, at 3, 5 years old that you are the concern and you're the problem and you get that thrown in your face, it's not fair. So I understand I may not get the services that I was supposed to get, but that's not her fault. It's money. Money's the root of all evil for everything we do. And I think if it really wasn't for me to give my life to Christ, I would not be where I am.
Wow. So what, mind me asking, what were like the signs growing, like when as a kid or whatever, what were like the symptoms of possibly being autistic and how did they diagnose you based on how you acted or your demeanor, or how's that work?
So one of the signs they noticed was I did tiptoe on my feet all the time. My mom used to actually call me a ballerina, but there also were signs too, because of being nonverbal and not being able to have any communication, even between 1 and 2 years old. Most kids are able to at least point, to things they really want or things that they need. And I wasn't doing any of those things that were on point. I wasn't crawling on time. I wasn't doing, what a preschooler should be doing at preschool. So it's just one of those, it's a catch-22. Every kid's different. There are signs for autism in many ways. One is it could be that they have no communication. It could also mean that their balancing is off a lot too. They're tiptoeing. Also, there is some behavior outbursts that are just happening that you have no control over yourself. And you're just, you're kind of thrown in this light where you don't know sometimes where you're going.
Yeah. How did as you grew older and got into school and everything, how did it affect you socially?
So I want to say with schooling, schooling's really bad. I think it might have got better over the years. Maybe now that I'm older, I feel like they've learned to take care of things a little bit better with school. But back in the day, 20 some years ago, just think about it. I mean, they didn't even know really what autism was. They wanted to say it was intellectual disability before even giving us the diagnosis of autism. It took, them up until age 15 to really fully diagnosed me as on the autism spectrum disorder, even though that they knew I had it at 6 months old.
Wow. So they knew it 6 months, and then how do they define what's autism and what's severe autism? Like, how is it different?
So severe autism is an individual that it's not on their key points. They're not verbal. They're having a lot of outburst. They're chewing on things they shouldn't chew on. Most things you would really think as a toddler that you would think, well, that's just normal stuff. But it's not normal when you're doing things that are something you would be doing between 1 and 2. So as you're getting between 5 and 6, you should have already been out of the biting stage. Would have already been out of the scratching stage. You would have been able to get around those type of things. I guess I want to say this as tending to coming to this point of with autism being older. I feel like when you're getting older, there are some behaviors and some things that are actually coming back that were in your childhood. So it's making it really
Interesting.
hard to make it out. And I think that there are some things that were probably skipped in my childhood that my mom did not know about. And I also feel that there are things that she didn't do that was, I don't know, proper, but I don't want to say that I'm not saying she's a bad mom. I'm not saying anything. So people don't get that. That's for sure. What I'm saying is there are things that she was not prepared for. And if she wasn't prepared for it, then she's not going to be able to help in that way.
Yeah.
And going to your big thing about addictions, one of the worst things with autism, and we go through this, and this is where I have this word out for every individual that turns past 21. Because people, they tend to think that someone that's has an addiction is just a mental delay. Oh, well, they're just crazy. Well, no, it really isn't that. When we get talked into trying something, we continue to keep trying it. And then what happens is it leads us to a path that we don't need to lead in.
The social
So
pressures can be a lot more
social
harsh.
pressure, but also too, we don't have good social skills with autism. So we're trusting every single thing that is out there, even though we should never trust them.
Okay.
And that's where the big hit comes, especially for alcohol or anything such as drugs or anything. Now, I'm not going to say that I had a drug addiction, but I will say that I did have an alcohol addiction. As they say, it leads from one. So you have one beer, you think, oh, good, everything's great. But then you come to this point, you're like, oh, well, one beer, how about we have another one? It's not making me feel any bad, so let's just keep at it. But then when it comes down to it, the next morning is when you wake up and you've got that god awful headache. But along with that process, though, of having this addiction with alcohol, especially with autism, we already have behavior issues. We get angry very easy.
Throw some
For
alcohol in the mix. It's a little
Yeah,
scary.
for all the parents out there, please don't let your kids drink. That's all I'm going to say. Because with being on the spectrum, drinking is mixing with the system, and it's making things even harder for us to, for some reason, we can't relieve it. Like, we can't get rid of it. So it's like we're already pissed off, we're already aggressive. Just add the mix of the drinking in, and then there you go. You got even more aggression. And as we get older, things in our bodies seem to make us stronger. We don't realize sometimes how strong we can be. So just think about it. If your kid is 3 to 5 years old, somewhere in that range, then they're already able to kind of pick you up like you're a rag doll, mom.
Yeah.
Well, just imagine being 21, already in drinking,
Full size
and
adult.
just as a full size adult, and then all of a sudden you get bit or you get pinched by us. It's like it's so much. Can't,
Yeah.
you just can't handle. And so, there's ways around things, but it's like, we have these advertisers that are always talking about alcohol. We have these advertisers always talking about medicine, Excedrin, all of this stuff, but when it all comes down to it, what is it doing to our body? That's the question. And everybody is going to ask themselves that. Like, they're saying, oh, well, if you took Tylenol when you were pregnant, and you had a child and they're diagnosed on the spectrum, um, oh, that's the reason why they have autism. Well, no, that's actually not the case. Because even if you think about it, even if the mom wasn't, she was pregnant, she never used Tylenol, how did she have a child on the spectrum? That's the next thing comes to your mind. So with that being said, I think um the more research that they come in and they do, I think things are going to get a little better. But I'm also going to say too, I don't like to be researched. And I know that mothers and fathers out there are like, oh, my kid is just a perfect research unit. And I'm like, it's not that. We don't want to be researched. We don't look at ourselves as wanting to be researched. We
Yeah.
don't want to be guinea pigs. It's already we're a guinea pig. We go to the doctors. What are they going to do? Put us on some medicine they don't even know, 10 days of. They think the rat took it really great, but guess what? We're not a rat. We're
Yeah.
not a
It's a
lab
human
man.
being.
Yeah, I mean, we're not a lab rat. So with that being said, people are not giving us a chance. Now, also going back to, I'm surprised they didn't go into a drug addiction. Here's the reason why. Being on 30 some pills in the morning, 30 some in the evening, 30 some at lunch, 30 some at bedtime, being autistic and having a psychiatric just go ahead and just give you all this medication, not knowing anything what's going to mix with the cocktail, it really makes me wonder why I never took, drugs in general.
Yeah.
And, I've been accused of being a ringleader for drugs. And I'm like, I wouldn't even take it. I didn't want to take it. I don't even want to take Excedrin or Tylenol when I don't feel good. So, I don't know, what other kids or other adults are thinking in their mind, but it's all, it's really up for grabs on the way that your mind is. Everybody's mind's different. It's going to learn differently.
Yeah.
You're either going to be a slow learner, or you're going to be an individual that is on the spectrum that is going to be learning even slower. And then they're working their way up. And so as they get older, things start to articulate better. But the problem with being on the spectrum and getting older, I'm realizing this so much right now, is yes, we are gifted with certain things. But if we don't use those gifts and we don't stay consistent at those gifts that we were given by God Himself, we are not sustainable to be able to live by ourselves. And because we're going to go into this downward spiral of whether it's going back to drinking or what, we need the support to be able to get where we are. And if it was not for me being called to come to America's Got Talent,
That's pretty
I wouldn't
cool.
be here in California.
Wow.
I was
That's
pulled
awesome.
here from America's Got Talent, and I went through all their stages, everything, made it a certain distance. I'm not going to specify a whole lot about it right now because I don't have that kind of permission. But I didn't realize that I had a gift in music.
When did you realize that?
I realized it about a year and 2 months in.
Wow. What kind of music is it?
I'm a Christian country rock artist.
Awesome.
And so I started just going on TikTok like everybody else. And with being on TikTok, I just go on there and, just sing some covers or something, sing over some other music or, whatever. Just have a
Yeah.
little fun.
Yeah.
And 6 months later, I went from 1,000 followers to over 45,000.
Wow.
And
That is
so
incredible.
that's when America's Got Talent called me out and told me to come to California.
Well, that is awesome.
And even though that I didn't make it to be a millionaire like everybody's dream is. I have been gifted to do performances and to keep it going because I was told if I didn't keep on going and performing and opening up and trying to create a social boundary,
Yeah.
I was not going to make it in real life.
And you knew that because you didn't want your symptoms of autism to hold you back, because you said that when you are given a gift, you got to focus on it and stick with it, or else
Yes. And
that
so
energy is going to go elsewhere.
it's kind of going back in the way of thinking about it. If I'm not doing my music and I'm not on that career boundary, I'm acting like a small child. And I'm craving to be that small child. Like, the only child in the house type deal. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just it's what happens. When we go out there and I go and perform, I'm so much of an adult, so much and they say my performance on stage is just it's more than they can ask for.
You kind of just flip a switch and just get the energy and just feel it.
Yeah, it just automatically, like I could snap my finger but then by the time I snap my finger, I do that performance. And then it's like I'm watching other people, and then it just gets boring to me because
Yeah.
I'd rather be the one up on stage. There are some artists that I do watch, and I do look up to. I do like Lecrae. I love his words that he puts out and his lyrics. I think he has been a gifted soul to lead me in the path of the Christian world. I also, I have to thank Morgan Wallen and Jelly Roll for leading me into the country music world.
Yeah, I like Jelly Roll a lot.
And, and Jelly Roll giving that Christian aspect from being and I don't want to say it this way, but Jelly Roll, I didn't like your rap,
Oh, I
but
know. That's how I knew about him, because I listened to rap and
when you came out with the Chapel album, that you touched my soul more than anything, and especially when I was drinking. You're the one that gave me the gear of trying to quit, not along with just my mom, but not along with just God himself, but you were also the one that gave me the gift to be able to quit drinking. So your music's kind of really touched me in that way.
that's
So that's
amazing.
definitely a shout out for him. And Morgan Wallen, same way. After, just these incidents happening at a bar, like, like a chair being thrown off the balcony, drinking and just throwing a chair and almost hitting a cop has made me think twice of getting out here and drinking on the street.
When
It's
was
like
so you didn't drink at all anymore, or did you quit altogether?
I do not drink anymore.
What's your
I've
sober date?
been sober since, let me think here. I came here in March. So I'd say, no, I'm not good with months, by the way.
Oh, it's fine.
I would say 2 months ahead of March.
Okay. Awesome. Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
going on a year soon. So
Yes.
so did you start writing your own music after a while, since you started to realize your talent and start
Yeah,
write your own songs?
I started looking at a lot of lyrics and stuff and just getting some ideas even from Jelly Roll and looking at some lyrics from Morgan Wallen and then of course Lecrae and one other artist that I was looking up to, which was Luke Combs. And I just kind of was trying to understand like the difference of how to set up the chorus aspect and then your verses and different things like that. I took an online course online for about 3 months, and there's nobody can tell me you cannot take a course and to learn how to do your music. It doesn't mean that you can do your music in notes or anything like that because you can't play instruments. Like I can't play instruments. I'm trying to learn. So I'm in a program soon that I'm going to be learning keyboard and electronic drums. But
Awesome.
being a lead singer doesn't always mean that you have to read your notes. Doesn't always mean, but what it does mean is you have to feel what you're going to sing, what your heart desires to come out. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, and you have to ask God himself too. You gotta put that prayer in too. Is this song going to be a good song? Or is this song going to be just like everybody else's song? We don't
Yeah.
want
Or
to be like everybody else.
Are you just writing it just to write it, and you're not feeling it, and it doesn't
Right.
have
So
the
a lot of my music, it has a touch for emotional. It has a lot of touch when it comes to autism and my life, my daily life, and then also being able to support my mom in the process, even though my mom doesn't really like the song that which I'm going to tell you something in a minute, which is going to really blow your mind. She didn't like the mama song that I did. And I was trying to do this because I wanted her to understand I cared about her. And she just didn't like it. And I was like, okay, well, you know, you don't have to. But I also was looking in, I was working on some songs too, like where I was from and, the different areas and the different things that were going on directly in that perspective of life at that time. And so a lot of my music has something to do with the story of my life and growing up and not having much. And then also having girls that want to take advantage of me, just like I just had another one. Just a few months after I left to come to California, I had an ex-girlfriend that did me wrong. And then come here to California and just a month ago, I was with another girl and guess what? That didn't work out. So I was
yeah.
like, okay, well,
What do they take advantage of you because they're aware of, like, they could take advantage of you 'cause
Take advantage of me because I was different, take advantage of, treating me differently and also disrespect and almost got me in trouble for domestic violence.
wow. What's an
So
example, if you don't mind me, like, how would they take advantage of your autism or
so basically because I was not able to have a normal relationship like everybody else could, between girlfriend and boyfriend. She was basically trying to hit up other individuals in the same time and cheat on me,
wow.
all of that. So it come to being a big problem. But I'm gonna say, and this is where I'm gonna lead to another example. So I have a brand new album that launches on New Year's,
Sweet.
January 1st,
I'll
12
promote the
a.m. in
heck
the
out
morning.
of it.
A.m. in the morning. It's called Love is Outcast. It is a big album, and it is the start of what love can start, and at the end is what love can disappear. So I hope that that album helps a lot of people get through, what I've been through.
Does it discuss how, having autism and what it's like to express love and feel love, and how is that different for you? I know that's a difficult question, but I'm wondering, like, in relationships and stuff, if it's difficult for the other person to fathom
So
how you
having
perceive.
having having autism, if people don't perceive and understand you, and they don't understand your boundaries and your issues and your personal issues on top of it, relationship just doesn't go where it needs to go. So it's not the way that it should be. It should be the complete opposite. People love you. You should be cared and loved for. For who you
Mhm.
are. It shouldn't
Yeah,
be, it should not be like, oh, well, my autism has just stepped in the way. I just got bit by you. I don't like you no more where I don't trust you, I don't do this, that type of thing. But, I don't want to go completely into that, to be honest, because
no, I
relationship
understand.
it's very triggering for me right now,
No, I totally understand.
especially on a month back already. So this is only a month. So
Okay. So, like, how much? So, is most of your music all Christian inspired, and have you been very spiritual in Christianity your entire life?
so actually, no, I came, I came here to California. I got baptized in California. I had a really nice pastor. She was from Florida and she's actually in one of my songs, by the way, that's coming out soon. If it wasn't for her to just come online and talk to me and different things and to explain to me, because I didn't go to church in Florida. I didn't trust the churches. I went to one and it was a non-denominational church and it was devil worshiping and I didn't want to get around that. I wanted out of it. So I didn't trust churches at all. But I came here to California and I met with her. It's actually the first time I actually met with her. Her and I did a song in the studio and it's actually called The Mic for the Lost. And if it wasn't for us to meet at Baptized California, I would have never met her. So, and I met with a lot of people from Baptized California, and it looks like Baptized California, I might actually be performing on their big stage for the very first time too. So that's just another thing that they're in a surprise to know there's a lot of things that are going to be happening.
That's great.
I never thought I'd be on the iHeart stage. So now this is going to give me an idea of what it's like to be on major stages.
Realizing your potential. Yeah. I mean, I
And
mean,
then
like
And
you
then, of
said,
course,
even though you're not a
I
millionaire.
another event coming up right now, possibly what my agent's been kind of talking back and forth to an individual about me opening up for Cardi B at the Kia Forum Stadium.
Oh, nice.
So
That
it's
is
just
cool.
like, there's a lot of things going around. And then I'm process of getting booked for a 62 tour.
Wow.
62 spots. So there's a lot going on, little bit of time to know. I can't share a lot of information about what's in play yet because there's a lot of things that have to be put in play because of my medical purpose and everything else. So the tour's not going to be, it may not be this year. It might make it out for next year, but there will be many shows, everybody, many shows, many concerts and stuff I will be performing at. And so, there's a lot of things that are coming up and I'm getting a lot of attention and a lot of people that are actually, they're really paying attention. And my music is touching a lot of people. And I think that's what the main thing is I'm still waiting right now too, is if I'm going to be on The Voice or AGT again. This is going to be, there's more updates coming around the corner.
You are making moves. It's going to be a good 2026 for you, it sounds like.
Well, it's going to be a good 2026 going in because 2025 in a year and 2 months in the music industry, I got my very first Grammy Song of the Year.
Wow. It's incredible. Jeez, you are no joke. This is cool. I'm going to have to start listening to some of your music and keep following you. That's pretty cool. So, when you're dealing with say producers and scheduling concerts and venues, are people aware that you are autistic, or is it something you
Yes.
keep to yourself? Oh, okay.
They are well aware because they're one of the things is about me doing these shows and stuff. They need to know because if I like say, I get scared at the crowd, get on stage and all of a sudden just kind of get scared or nervous, somebody's got to be there to lead me in the right direction.
Okay.
And they are there to do that. There's been some incidents that started when I first started. It was that way. Now, when I go on performance and stuff, it just opens. My stage performance opens, and that's where my heart opens, and that's where and it's also where I dress too. So it's not like like you see me now. I mean, I probably look like a rapper on the street right now because I do a little bit of rap music too. So,
Nice.
but I'm not like that all the way. I'm country.
Kind
I
of mix it
dress
up.
Yes, I dress country. It's like, I have a country hat. I've got, cowboy hat, cowboy boots, you name it. I mean, when I go to my shows, that's who I am. That's my originality. That's why I'm trying to kind of let my mom know, this is me. And, for you not to like my music or and be upset over it, it's kind of pointless, you
Yeah,
know, because I'm going to do it whether you want me to or not. I'm already making it.
exactly.
You know,
No,
I
you're on a
could.
good trajectory.
I know that financially, she didn't want to spend the money to get me where I need to be, but sometimes we have to figure out a way to do things at some point in our life.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
I just hate, I hate the point that she kind of lost privilege to have me as her son. I mean, I'm still her son. I still love her, but it's sad that that privilege was took away. It doesn't mean that I can't come and see her. It doesn't mean that she can't come to my shows. It doesn't mean any of that. So, and for the people in Florida, I just want to say this to you guys. For you to down my music and to not be there for me, it's surely really strange that now everybody from Panama City and Mexico Beach and Miami and D-Land, Florida, and all this, it's just strange how all of you have actually claimed to want to hear my music. And I've been looking at the playlist, and the playlists are always coming from Florida. It's just,
Interesting. So you got
it's
a lot of
insane.
support over there. Yeah.
It's insane because they kept telling me, "Oh, you're not going to make it as a Christian artist." I was like, "Well, you just watch me because I'm going to make it." And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. I love when anybody in recovery or in general says that. Just watch me, because it just shows you're not going to let anybody stop you. Nothing's going to phase you. You can overcome any obstacle. So that's awesome that you have that attitude. And Sounds like you're on a great trajectory and people do believe in you. And it sounds like, is there certain things where you feel like having autism holds you back on your trajectory? Do you feel like it motivates you?
So I think autism does hold me back in some ways, especially, the way I talk to people or getting upset or being in that, that environment. But I also things that do hold me back too. I don't go to bars, but they want me to perform at bars and stuff. And I have no problem with doing it. I just don't want to be pressured with buying a drink, being there for that. To me, I don't support it. That's not what a Christian artist does. So I'm hoping to have more churches open up and have me and different, in different venues like that. I'm hoping to be able to perform at the Crypto.com arena at some point by the middle of this year. That would be great.
LA, that'd be awesome. I just went there a few weeks ago. It's pretty cool.
I mean, I've been performing in Los Angeles quite often, so I'm
Awesome.
all over the place.
How often are you doing shows?
Well, one week I did 10 shows, and then another week I took a break and did 5 shows, and that was it. And then, of course, I've gotten some other shows now that are just keep coming up now. So right now it looks like January is going to be a busy month, and it looks like December was already a busy month.
Do you ever have any issues with like stage fright or anxiety beforehand, or
Yeah,
you
I
just kind
did. Yeah, I mean, I do. And so one of the things I've also realized too, and I have I have a lady that also helps me with vocals online. And she always tells me, she said, look, if you ever go into a stage fright, the first thing you need to do is look at something that you really love in the crowd, whether it's where it might be a shirt, it might be a hat or something. Focus on that. But before you go out on stage, close your eyes for 10 seconds and then start singing your heart and then open. And that's
wow.
all you need to do.
Is there anything motivational you say to your heart like right beforehand?
I do a prayer before going on stage, and as soon as I do that, it seems to open a little bit easier.
Good.
But when
Awesome.
I go, but sometimes if I go on stage and I don't do that prayer, if we don't have time to do that prayer, it makes it even harder for me to get through it. So that's another thing too. I always, before I go to these venues that are getting booked and stuff, I go and talk to them and I make sure that these venues understand these are the things, this is who I am. And this is not no normal artist. And I like to do a prayer for my fans too. So when I do go on stage, sometimes I always say to my fans, let's do a prayer. 30-second prayer does not hurt nobody.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So you said a lot of your songs are inspired with your having autism and stuff. So do you write lyrics that are based around what it's like to have autism or being
Yes.
outspoken about it? Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay. What kind
Yes.
of things do you talk about or sing about?
And so I was gonna say, so nobody's figured this out yet, but every album that I have, there is pieces like a puzzle
Yep. And
with
puzzles
every
represent
song
autism, right?
for that album. And if you can figure out those pieces and you can put them together, we're giving away a $5,000 prize if you can figure out my story for every album.
So is it based around the album title or pieces within
It's
the
based
lyrics?
within the album in the
Cool.
lyrics.
So you're telling a story over time, basically.
Yes.
That is really creative. That's cool. So do you feel like music just brings you peace? Because I've heard that certain sounds with people with autism apparently like give them a sense of calm. Is that what music does for you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
It
Awesome.
brings me a sense of calm and a sense of understanding and being there. Lord brings that connection to it at the same time. So it's like when I sing it's like if you want to say it that I'm Jesus standing right here and I'm giving you all. Like I'm giving you everything that's in my heart. Like
Yeah,
all your sins are forgiven once you hear me perform. It's like
that's cool. Did you ever feel like drinking since you stopped about 9 months ago, 9, 10 months ago? Did you feel like drinking, you realized it was holding you back on your,
I
you know,
yes,
showing?
I did. I did. But I told myself, look, I'll cook with it, but I ain't drink.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. So as you start to kind of grow and get more popular as an artist and all that, are you feeling like you're putting any pressure on yourself? Or are you just doing the same thing, staying consistent? Or do you feel
Sometimes I
like you
feel
have to?
I feel like I am putting a lot of pressure on myself because it's not always like the way I want things to be.
Yeah.
But I always look to, him upstairs, and that's what really gets me exactly where I need to be.
Besides the guy upstairs who is there for you obviously at all times, but do you have the right support system around you? People that understand your
Yes.
autism and everything you're doing, you have the right support?
Yes, yes. I have some carers that are in here. I have a friend, which his name is Jonte, and he lives with me. And then I also have some very good supporters that are really Christian. They're very religious too. And I think that's what keeps keeping me going.
Great. And then when like times do get rough, say you have like any triggering moments or anything, do you deal with that by making music or are there other ways you cope with those things?
Usually when I'm angry or something, it usually takes me a little bit of time to figure out something, but what I do is I actually start writing.
Start
And
writing.
usually
Okay.
that it ends up being a song that is definitely it just comes. It's a masterpiece by the time it's finished.
That's cool. So you are writing about your own emotions and what's going through your head right at the time. Yeah. It's cool. So when you first started going to church and stuff and got baptized and all that, was a lot of because whenever I've been to Christian churches, the music always like makes me feel it. I get butterflies hearing it, and I
Yes.
don't go to church as much as I should, but is that something that you just felt and it kept inspiring your music and your love for
Yes,
music?
and then I felt too if I can't go to church every day, then my church could be brought in, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much that's where it's where the music really takes.
Beautiful. I like it. So what so you kind of looking to release like an album a year with different genres or just kind of see
Um,
what feels right at the time?
I'm probably looking to I'm trying to release a couple songs each month is what I've been trying to do.
Okay, just
But
release singles and put them out there and see
yeah,
what they
just do like
respond to.
singles here and there, but I mean, it doesn't happen every month, so it just depends on how busy I am.
Great. And you have good relationships with other artists that you can duet with and work with and
Yeah, I've
have
done like I
on.
said, I did a feature with Pastor Jinx, and then that's the female that I told you about. I also my this album that's coming out January 1st is actually with my girlfriend that I had, and and it's just I do features with other people. If anybody ever wants to do a feature, all they need to do is just go on to my Instagram and send a message, and my agent will talk to them, and they will see if they're going to be fit for me. Usually, they don't just allow just anybody in because some people are just not close enough to the heavens the way they need to be.
Exactly. And do you like making sure that you work with other artists that are Christian based or does that matter to you?
It doesn't matter to me, but my agent, it does.
Do you feel like you ever get impatient? You want the results right away, because you mentioned earlier, like, hey, I didn't become a millionaire overnight. Do you ever feel like having autism makes you impatient? You're like, I just want everything to happen now, or are you okay with the
Um,
process?
I don't think money is all it's cut out to be. I think as long as you can pay rent, you're great.
Yeah.
But other than that, no.
Are you good with money and like pretty responsible in other aspects of your life?
I mean, I'm responsible. I'm trying to keep my bills paid. I'm trying to do things that, most people have a hard time trying to do. They focus on their fun before focusing on their bills. But the one thing I can tell you is my mom always said, bills are more important first, and then your
Yeah.
luxuries are last.
Yep, exactly. So it seems like your mom seems like your mother does believe in you. She just has a different outlook on the career you're pursuing. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, and her health is not there too. So it's like, she wanted to go on tour with me, she couldn't go.
Yeah. So she's a
And
little frustrated not being able to be there.
she can't be there. And then also too, she was afraid that I was gonna go into the music industry and get around drugs and alcohol
Yeah.
and
Does she worry a lot because of the autism and she thinks she'll be taken advantage of or led down the wrong path?
she worries about that. Yeah.
But it seems like when you meet people now in the industry, so you're going to meet a ton of people. Do you feel like you have to tell them right away that you are autistic, or do you kind of just, if they ask or
I
question
work it
something you're
in.
doing,
Work it in.
you work it
Work it
in?
in.
Okay.
Don't just immediately say, "Oh, I'm autistic. I'm different."
Yeah.
No,
I know that's
work
kind of a dumb question on my part.
work it
I'm
in.
curious.
If anybody has one thing they need to think in their mind is work it in. Work it
Yeah,
in.
work it.
Don't go like
Okay.
I'm autistic. Don't go like, oh, I'm ADHD. Don't do any of that. Don't even go and say, oh, I just drank last night. Because really, they don't really need to know. And if
Yeah.
they need to know, they will slowly realize it.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you being a little more cautious going into like new relationships now, since you feel like in the past you were
Yeah,
taken
I'm
advantage of?
done. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm done with girls. I'm done.
Okay. J
It
Addy
was
is single and
it,
not looking.
yeah, I'm not. Yes, JID is not looking for any girlfriends at all at this point.
All right. None of my listeners, do not slide into his DMs unless you want.
You can slide in my DMs for fans, but they get nothing else now. Come on.
All right. Good to know. All right. Well, like, what did any advice you'd like to give to my listeners in recovery or people with autism on how to handle being autistic, and just what advice would you give from your
Well,
experience of?
my advice is to ask for the Lord's help when you feel like He's not there. Keep doing it. Don't give up. And on top of it, use your mind for something that's creative. Once you've figured out something that's creative in your mind, will tend to move you away from alcohol or drug addiction or anything that is trying to take that the devil is trying to pull in for you right now. And don't always, if you come to California, don't focus on your career to be a millionaire. Don't focus to be that superstar by the time you get here to California, because I'm going to be honest with you, the chances of coming to California and being a superstar doesn't work that way. I have really worked since March 3rd of 2025, everybody, and this is something you got to hear. For 2025, March 3rd, I have worked my butt off all the way from doing free shows that don't pay a penny to shows that are eventually starting to show some kind of return.
Yeah.
If you come here to California thinking you can sing, thinking that you can make it, oh, I can play the guitar, I can play the drums. You can play the guitar, you can play the drums all you want. You can be a lead singer, but that doesn't mean you're going to make it.
Yep.
In California is one thing I can say, most amazing advice was my mom was to say, California is expensive.
Yeah. It is.
This is not a place to think that you can find rent cheap or anything. So if you ain't working and you're not busting your butt going on the street and performing just to be something, and making those tips or doing something, you just can't make it out here.
Yep.
It's
No, I
it's
appreciate that.
and then on top of it too, it costs a lot for me to come from Florida over here. It costs a lot. AGT, I thank them for going through the trouble to give me that. It's a blessing. The blessing is really what, was here. And it's God's
Yeah.
blessing for me to be in California. This is, and nobody else can tell me anything different.
You feel like you took a risk and you just put your whole life, heart, and soul into your passion, and you just know that if you stick to
I
it, it's
think
going to
all
work
the
out.
time that I was in Florida in my camper, all the time thinking, what would it be like to be in California? Or what would it be like to be able to see how many people love my music, care for my music? But when I came here to California, the first thing was I didn't have no California person listening to my music. They didn't even know who I was. The only person that knew who I was America's Got Talent. That's it. And the thing is, I worked my way in. I worked in the system to get to where I need to be. And I want to say immediately too, if you make a decision and you want to come to California and you want to pursue your dreams in California, these are things you need to focus on first. One, you need to focus on having a place to stay. The second thing, get your ID changed immediately. Get your food stamps, get whatever you need to be able to substantially be there, your medical insurance, all of that. Because if you don't, it will lead pain later.
Yeah.
It happened to me already once. I'm not going to say that it's not happened to thousands.
Yeah.
I
No, I
see
get.
more homeless people here in California than I've seen in my own state.
LA has the has the capability to destroy people when they move over there. I mean, My little sister went over there and took a fentanyl hit and overdosed and passed away just a week after moving to LA. So it's like, yeah, LA just, you never know. It's like moving to Vegas, it can destroy you if you don't have the right mindset.
And you gotta have the right backing. You gotta have the
Yeah.
right people that you're around because, they're always checking on you. I have a good crew that's always checking on me. They're like, I go back from the doctor, yesterday, they're worried about me.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
that's
good.
the kind of people you need.
Have the right support around you.
Need the right support.
That's
And
so well
don't you
said.
definitely don't think you can make it with no support out here. That's for
Yeah.
darn sure.
In general, whether in recovery or living anywhere, that having the right people around you is key. Yeah. But especially in LA, I would say, if you're coming
Yeah,
out there to chase your
especially in
dreams.
LA.
Yeah.
Now
Well, that's awesome.
San Diego's gorgeous,
Yes,
but
I
I
like
haven't
San
seen as
Diego.
much homeless there. But I've seen some videos of some things that are coming up where San Diego's got some homeless coming. But it's like, it's a gorgeous area right now, but when's it gonna stay gorgeous?
That's a good point. Oh man.
And if it wasn't, and I have to do a shout out though, if it wasn't for San Diego for me to go and do a free performance, this is where people have no understanding in the music industry. To go to a free performance, did not get paid to go to San Diego. Had to get a hotel room to deal with this. Okay.
Yeah.
So almost a week hotel just to go to San Diego. It's expensive.
Yeah.
I got signed by a record label known as Rhythm and Rain, and I have to do a shout out for Rhythm and Rain for believing in me as a Christian artist.
Awesome. Rhythm and Rain. Got it. Do they primarily work with Christian artists?
No,
Oh, okay.
they work with rappers, they work with everybody, but the only difference is that every one of us, if there's a specific thing they look for, they look for, are you close or are you just out here for the fame and money? Because they can give you the fame and money all you want. Like, you go out there and you perform, you got a chance to win $500. If they notice that you're just out for that fame and money, oh, here you go, here's $500. See you later. I don't want to see you again.
Yep. Got to be in there for the right reasons. So,
That's right.
yeah.
So I didn't come for $500. I came for success.
Yep. You're looking at the
Success is
big
the
picture.
key. And the big picture is what we have to look for. And God is the only one that can create that big picture for us.
Mic drop on that one. That was well said. Seriously. So, no, I really appreciate you being on and talking about it. And what's the next song we can look forward to coming out? I'm going to start checking out your music.
So, like I said, the new album comes out January 1st at 12 a.m.
So tonight?
It's called Love is Outcast.
Okay. On Spotify or what?
And please listen to the whole album. It'll be on Spotify, YouTube, all of your music platforms.
What's your full artist name?
My full artist name is J space ADDY 360 degrees. That's J Addy 360 degrees spelled out.
Awesome. Okay.
And you can find me on my social media, same places.
Okay. Addy 360 degrees on TikTok as well.
Yes, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it.
Great. I'll be adding you on there and checking out more of your stuff. Like, seriously. Really appreciate it. And I appreciate you talking about autism. I appreciate you talking about your Christianity. I appreciate you talking about your experience in LA, why you quit drinking. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Ryan. It means a lot to be able to be on here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.